Hi everybody, welcome back. Today we are making stained glass window art. This is one of my favorite crafts from when I was younger. So the materials that you need for today's craft is a picture with thick borders. I just got this off the internet and I typed in a mandala, but you can do it on paint or you can draw your own. At the holiday season, I always do a Christmas tree or an ornament shape, and I just find the pictures. 2 pieces of black construction paper. If you don't have black, you can choose to use red. This is the border to your photo. Scissors, a glue stick, a piece of cardboard if you're going to cut your pictures out with an X-Acto knife. If you aren't comfortable using one or your parents don't want you using one, that's okay. You can cut yours out with scissors. I'm going to be using the knife just because it's a little bit quicker for me, but you might want to use scissors depending on how old you are and what your parents feel like. And then tissue paper, and I have a variety of colors. Pick whatever colors you think are going to look good and combine well together. So the first step is taking your picture and one piece of your construction paper, and you're going to glue it in the center. We're going to be using this glue a couple times today, and you're going to want to try and glue quite a bit of the edges. So the whole set of edges and a lot of the back of the picture where your actual stencil is so that the black sticks. And I'm just going to center my picture as I stick it down. So there is step 1. I'm going to then stack it to my other piece of paper so that the picture, when I cut it out, matches. We want this stencil to be on 2 pieces of paper. So then with your scissors, you can cut it out, or I'm going to be using the X-Acto knife. So you're just going to keep your pieces together. If you need to tape them in the corner, that's okay. And you're just going to cut through to mark out your stencil. You can leave a little bit of the white edge of your stencil. It doesn't have to be right up to the edge, because when you actually do your tissue paper, you're going to flip the pages so it's all black anyways. So it's okay if the white shows through a little bit. So you'll see, I'm just going to do it to the first one and then the second one. I've cut out my first stencil shape, and I'm going to do that to the rest of my picture. So you guys can continue cutting out your stencil now as well. You'll see I'm about halfway through my stencil, and I'm going to keep going. Once I cut out a good section of 3 or 4 squares, I then pop out the black and white background so that I can see that my lines are clean, and then I'm going to continue cutting out the rest. But I've left that inside border, which is going to be really important once we get to the tissue paper portion. So you see I've cut out my whole stencil, and you can see I've still left a lot of white border. It's okay, because when I take my second piece and match it up on the other side, my white border is going to be gone, and you're only going to see my tissue paper shine through. So now we are done with our knife and we are done with our cardboard. That was just to protect our table. And we're going to get our tissue paper, and you're going to cut it out, and you're going to glue your tissue paper on your single sheet to fill in. So you line your tissue paper around the borders. So I'm going to do a few, and then I'll show you what it will look like. So I've done 4 pieces so far. You'll see that I just cut out my tissue paper and I glue it on. But when I flip it over, all you see is the tissue paper. And when you put that in the window, it's going to give you the stained glass effect. And I'll just show you how I cut it out. Is I cut my square to the correct size to cover my whole open slot that I want that color. And then you can trace it, or you can just measure out. And you're going to cut. You don't want it to fit the inside of the square. You want it to go on the black lines, because that's what you're going to glue it to. So you don't want to cut it too small. It's better to have it overlap the black lines so that you have something to glue your picture to. So that's where tracing it sometimes does come in handy and make it a little bit easier for everybody. So I've cut out my next leaf. I check to make sure it's the right size. It's not going to overlap into any other pictures, and mine might be a little big right now. I want it to go in the black line, but I don't want it to go into the square next door or right beside. And then since I have 6 pink leaves, I'm going to just take a stack of that many more pieces of pink tissue paper, and I'm going to cut it out since I've already traced it to be the right size once. I'm going to put my leaf that I already traced on there and just cut around to get 6 leaves that shape. And that will make it the easiest and the fastest. But if you want to take your time with this craft and do it individual square by individual square, that's more than okay. So now you'll see I have all my leaves to be glued down onto my picture. And I just run my glue stick around the black edge. And I glue on my leaf one at a time. And then you're going to do it to your next section, and you can pick a different color. That's what I'm going to do. If you don't like cutting out each leaf individually, another option is to layer your tissue paper. So don't cut it out perfect sizes, and just apply your glue around your whole stencil that you cut out, so the black paper, and just layer your colors over the center. It doesn't have to perfectly fit on each one when you're doing a layered system. And you just layer your tissue paper around your whole leaf as many times and as many layers as you want until you're happy with your final product. But I've now got all my leaves almost glued on for my second layer. So you'll see where I'm at, and then I'll continue to do it with a different color on the other edge. So this is the side that's going to go in the window. But this is what it looks like on the other side where my colors are overlapping, which is okay because that white's going to be covered with my second that I cut out, okay? I've just finished gluing my last piece of tissue paper on my picture. You'll see from the other side, it gives that nice, pretty, clean look. So now I'm going to take my second piece of black paper, and I'm going to line it up to match my other side. And then I'm going to glue them together face down to each other so both sides match. You want to be careful when you're putting the glue on your tissue paper that you might want to let it dry in between. Instead of putting it directly on my tissue paper, I'm going to put it on the face down side that I'm going to glue to my picture. And I'm just going to run a little glue through the main black lines to help stick down that tissue paper and not have any spaces in my 2 stencils. You want to be careful when you're doing this that you don't get glue on your table, and if you do, you want to wipe it off right after so that you don't have a sticky kitchen table or craft table wherever you are. And then you line up your papers and glue it back down. You might need a little time to let this all dry. If it's ready to go though, you can go stick it in your window, tape it up there, and you have a beautiful window stained glass art. And this isn't just a craft that you can do with mandalas like this one. You can do it with pumpkins at Halloween and make a pumpkin stained glass window art, candy canes or Christmas trees around the holidays. Tissue paper comes in all sorts of colors, and it's whatever picture you design and cut out and put your tissue paper on. So the options are endless. Thank you everybody for coming today, and I can't wait to see you guys again. Hope you have a great day, and go stick your art in the window. Bye.